Hey guys, we are going to look at lesson 10.2. We're going to talk about volume again, except this time we're going to use a method called the washer method. We're going to use this method when we're rotating. We'll see it when we're rotating about an axis and then also a shifted axis, but today we'll just look at rotating around the x or the y axis and what makes it the washer method instead of the disk method that we looked at before. So there's that YouTube link. If you guys go to that YouTube link, I'm going to kind of just talk through a little video on there. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. Alright, so what you see here, and this is on the YouTube video, we have three things being graphed. So first you're going to see that we have the square root of x graphed, which is this curve right here. Then we have 1/10 x that's graphed, which is this linear function. And then it's going to be bounded by this line x equals 4, which is this vertical line x equals 4. Okay, so this time what we're going to do is we're going to rotate this about an axis, very similar to what we did before. Okay, so we're going to take this whole shaded red area and we're going to rotate it about this x-axis right here. So this is what it's going to look like. Alright, so what we're seeing here, hopefully you notice a little bit different, is this inside piece. Okay, all the other ones that we looked at previously when we talked about the disk method were completely solid. Okay, it was being rotated around an axis that touched completely to one whole side of the function that we were rotating it around. So here we're going to notice that there's kind of like a gap, or there's a space, a hollowed area. So like if I held this up, I could actually like pour something into there and it would fill up. Sometimes that's going to go all the way through and it's going to be a hole all the way through. But that is the important part that's going to let us know that we're going to use this washer method. Okay, so as we look at this, we're going to see that when we make a cross section, we're going to see what looks like a washer. Okay, so here we see that washer, and what we're going to have to do is because it was a completely solid filled in area, we didn't really have to consider all pieces. But what we're going to actually have to consider here is not just the radius to that outside to give us the whole volume, because if we did that, that would give us the volume even of this inside piece that's not really there. We're also going to have to talk about the radius of the inner piece. That way we can take that away. So we're going to have to subtract that out. So what that's going to look like is, just a second, it's got to get to there, a radius for the outer and subtracting that radius for the inner function. Okay, so that's going to give us just a little brief idea here of what that's going to look like. Okay, so taking that, we're going to look at the notes page here. You'll see that I put the volume formula. Okay, you need to make sure you understand this is the volume formula that we're going to use when we have a washer that we're dealing with, when we're doing the washer method. You'll notice that it's a little bit different. So it has this, still the pi, then from A to B. Okay, so our lower limit to our upper limit, and that's of the shaded area that we are finding the volume of. Then this right here, the r of x squared, and then minus the r of x squared. So this is going to be the radius for the outer piece, and this is going to be the radius for the inner piece. Okay, well, we have to make sure we know how do we actually find the radius for the outer piece and the inner piece. So I've got that written here. R of x is the radius to the outer curve, and little r of x is the radius to the inner curve. Now this would look very similar if we're going to revolve it around. So this is when we're revolving it horizontally, sorry. And then if we're revolving it vertically, remember all of these values change to be y values, no longer x values. So we'll make sure we do an example of both of those. Okay, so just to look at this just picture here for us, we have two functions. We have square root of x and we have an x squared. So this one right here is the square root of x. This one right here is x squared. Hopefully you guys could recognize that, just to make sure you know. This means I need to find the radius to the outer curve. So what does that mean? That means it's the radius from where we're revolving to the outer curve. So if we're revolving around the x-axis, I need to say this radius. So from where we're rotating to the outermost curve, to that line that we're revolving it around. Okay, so this right here is going to be the r of x. Now, how do we get that? Well, this is going to be constantly changing as we go to different places on here. So that means this is going to have to be represented by a function. Well, it's going to look, sorry about all the shadows, it's going to look like my function out here, because I need this distance. So remember, distance is finding the difference between two things. Well, what two things am I finding the difference between? I'm finding the difference, or the distance, between this curve and my line that I'm rotating it about. Okay, so we're finding the distance between that function, which we said was the square root of x, and this curve, or this is not a curve, this is the line we're rotating about, which the value of that line is 0. So this is going to give us that radius. Okay, this is probably the hardest part to figure out, not necessarily when we're revolving around an x or a y axis, because it's always going to be 0, but when we start shifting these, it's going to make this a little bit more complicated. Okay, so in this case, because it's minus 0, it's still just going to be the distance to that curve. Over here, the radius to the inner curve is going to be to this blue. On mine it's blue, so this is a little r of x. That just means that little r of x is going to be the distance, or the difference between this curve and where we're rotating it about. So that one's going to be x squared minus the 0, because we're not really moving it anywhere, it's just going to give us that same distance. Okay, so we're going to have to use those things. Once we get what this value is, we would plug it in here and square it. We'll get what this value is, we plug it in here and square it, and that's what we're taking the integral of. And please don't forget your pi. Okay, again, this a and b needs to be the lower and the upper limit of the shaded area, the area in which you're finding this. Now, to explain why the equation is this being subtracted by this. So when we find r of x and we get this radius and we plug it in here, when we square that, what we're really doing is we're finding all of this area underneath that curve. And when we do the same thing with this one, we're getting all of this area under the blue curve. Well, to get the area of this piece in the middle, we have to take all of this whole area, which is this first piece right here, and we're going to have to subtract out the area of all of this to get that inside part that we're looking for that's going to be revolved. Okay, so that's going to give us our volume. So let's look at an example from start to finish and what that's going to look like. Okay, so example 1, it says, find the volume of the solid that results when the region enclosed by the following curves is revolved about the x-axis. So make sure we notice this means it's being revolved around the x-axis, which means it's horizontal. So this means we should be using x's. Okay, we need to make sure we use x's because we are doing a horizontal rotation. That means our limits should be a lower and an upper x value. Okay, so the first thing that I'll always recommend doing is graph this. So these are already y equals, so that makes this really easy for us to graph. I'm going to put the graph in the middle on this stuff. Okay, so here when we graph this, okay guys, you can use your graphing calculator, you can use Desmos. Hopefully you're getting very comfortable with that. Okay, this is going to be a quadratic. Okay, it's going to look like this. It's going to go through 4. So it's going to go through 4. And then the, sorry guys, the x-intercepts are actually -4 and a +4. Okay, so just doing a rough sketch of what this looks like. Again, might not be perfect, just a sketch so we get an idea of what we've got. So this is that first function, 4 minus x squared over 4. Then my next function is y equals 2. So this means it's a horizontal line that goes through all the y values of 2. So that's going to be right here. Okay, so that means the shaded area that I'm shading, this is the area that's enclosed by those two. Okay, so this is what we're going to revolve, and it says that we're going to revolve this around the x-axis. So here's my x-axis. So hopefully what you're noticing that when I revolve this, just gonna do a rough little sketch down here so everybody kind of sees. Okay, I'm gonna get this not very easy to sketch this one. Okay, this is going to look like an inner tube, if y'all can kind of picture what that's going to look like. Okay, there's going to be this part that goes all the way around, and there's going to be a hole that goes completely through the middle, and it's going to be this big. Okay, so this kind of think of like an inner tube. Okay, except the inside's flat, it's not rounded on the inside. Okay, so we need to find the area, or the volume, sorry, when I revolve it around, when I make this that three-dimensional object that we're going to get here. Okay, so that means we need to be talking about an outer radius and an inner radius. Okay, because we're using the x's, I don't need to do anything different to these because they're already in terms of x. So that just means from where we're revolving, so the x-axis, the farthest curve away, so the outer curve, so in this case it's going to be our quadratic, okay, that is our r of x. Okay, so this one is r of x. So let's find the radius. So the radius needs to be the distance between this curve and where we're revolving it. Okay, so from this curve to where we're revolving it is going to be, okay, I just need the distance here, so that is 4 minus x squared divided by 4, and I'm going to subtract the value of the axis that I'm rotating it around. Well, it's the x-axis, so the value there is 0. Okay, that's just going to give me the same thing that we had. Okay, I know this is a little redundant, but I'm doing it because later on, if I don't do it now, it's going to make it harder later on. Okay, now we need to do the inner, so the inner is going to be from where we're revolving it to the inner curve or inner function, which is going to be this y equals 2 function. So that means I need this distance, so that's going to be a 2 minus 0 because it's the axis, so this is just going to be a 2. So this is my r of x, and this is my little r of x. So when we come over to our volume formula, now we're just plugging things in. So remember, we said that this, we needed to be using x's. So that means I need to find the lowest x and the biggest, so the smallest x and the biggest x of this shaded area. So that means I need this x and this x. So you're going to have to use your calculator to find this intersection of these two. We're going to get a negative 2.8 and a positive 2.8. Okay, then we're just going to put these functions in. So I've got 4 minus x squared over 4, square that piece because that's what the equation said to do. That's the area. And then we've got the other one, which is just the 2 squared. And then we have to take it with respect to dx. And when we do that, all right, so it's 132.6, let's put 68 because it's 0.6796, so we'll just leave it right there. All right, all right, the volume is 132.68. I'm rounding to 68 because it's 0.6786. Okay, I'll pick up here on the next video.